Hello and welcome to AutoCAD in 20 Hours. This video series is meant to accompany the book AutoCAD in 20 Hours using the ribbon interface. This is the first of this series covering sections 1.1 through 1.4. Check your YouTube settings before we get going. Check on this little gear. Under the quality setting, set it to 720 or higher. When you first open AutoCAD, this is the screen that you see. You got the ribbon here at the top. Up here also at the top left is the undo button, which is very important to know about. We have this bar down at the bottom. If you click on the first button here, it should be the first for you. That'll turn the grids off and on. Come over and find the ortho and turn that on, and then come over and turn on the OSnap and turn everything else off. This line over here to the bottom left is the command line, and that's where you'll see the commands when you type it in. When you type a command in, you don't have to click in there, just start typing and it'll show up in there. As you can see, I just typed line, and when I enter now I've got the line command. I'm going to escape from that for now. The first thing that we want to do is we want to type startup, the word start up, and then hit the enter button. It asks us for a value. This value is currently at 0. Type 1 and enter. Now if we come up to the top here and click on the AutoCAD icon and click new, we get this create new drawing window, and that's what you get when you give the startup a value of 1. It has 3 tabs at the top. We're interested in the tab all the way to the left. And for this book here, we are going to use feet and inches, the imperial system. That's what's used for architectural drawing. You could also set metric here. But click the imperial and then OK. Now come down and hover over the Object Snap button and right click. That brings up this menu. You have the options here to turn off and on different OSnap icons. The bottom one is the Object Snap settings. Click on that. That opens the drafting settings box, and it has settings for some of the other buttons at the bottom also, but we're just interested in this for now. We're going to turn on the end point by clicking in the box here, the midpoint. Let's turn the center off for now, extension off, and the perpendicular. So we're going to have the end point, the midpoint, the intersection, and the perpendicular, and then OK. Somehow my ortho got turned off. I'm going to turn that back on again. Section 1.2, line. Come up to the top here and click on the Home tab if it's not already open, and click on line. Now click out in space somewhere and pull a line vertically and type 27 and then use the apostrophe symbol for feet. Apostrophe symbol on your keyboard and enter. Now you'll notice that didn't work. So this is a problem with AutoCAD. Hit the escape button and type units. And this opens up the drawing units box. And you'll see, even though we set imperial in the startup, it didn't actually take. This is a big problem. It happens in every version of AutoCAD that I've used. So under this tab here, type, click architectural, and then OK. And now click on the line again, pull down, type 27 apostrophe for the foot, and enter. Now type Z, enter, A, enter. That's zoom. This didn't work, so I'm going to escape. Z, enter, A, enter. And that is not working right now. I'm going to try one more time. Zoom. I'll just go ahead and type zoom because it doesn't seem to be want to take the Z command. Enter. And then A for all. Okay, now there's my whole 7-foot line. I'm going to turn off this little XY coordinate icon here because it just gets you in the way of the demonstration. So I'm going to come over here to View, bring up the View ribbon, and then all the way to the left I'm going to click on this UCS icon, and that will turn it off. Just go back to the Home ribbon, click on Line again, and now because we have our object snaps turned on down here at the bottom, and we have the endpoint icon turned on in our settings, when I come close to the top of this line, a endpoint OSNAP icon highlights, and then once it's highlighted, we can click and it will attach. Now let's type 22 foot, enter. And once again, it's the apostrophe symbol is what we use for feet in the architectural drawing system. So now we're going to pull down. You notice I didn't click on line again. You don't have to. You can just keep going. I'm going to type 27 foot, enter, and then come back and hover over this icon, endpoint, and click. And now I'm going to enter again. You can also escape to get out of there. Section 1.3, offset. This is the modify palette or modify section of the home ribbon. This being the whole home ribbon here at the top. And then you have these subsections underneath it, which they call palettes. And in the lower right corner, you have this button for offset. Click on that. Then you're going to type in 5 foot. 5 foot. With the, once again, the apostrophe symbol being the foot symbol. And enter. The cursor turns into a little box. Now click on the lower line and then click anywhere above it and you'll get another line. Now let's click the offset button again. Type 10 foot, enter. And click on this line all the way to the left and click inside again. And then enter again. I just right clicked, and then when you right click you get a lot of different options. If you get these green boxes coming up and you can't get rid of them, hit the escape button. Now come up here to the modify palette on the home ribbon, find the trim and click on it, and then enter on your keyboard right away. And now click on this center line and on this part of this line here. Now click on the line again, and as you approximate this upper right corner you'll see the endpoint icon. Click on it, pull the line out towards the right and type 12 foot, enter. Now pull down and type 22 foot, enter, and then come back and click on this endpoint icon here. Then you can enter again or escape. So once again, let's look at the zoom command that I was talking about. It didn't work real well the first time. Sometimes AutoCAD gets glitchy and it doesn't do what you tell it to do. But let's type Z and enter, and then you'll see in the command line we get a lot of zoom options. If I type now A, enter, I've got actually some writing here. You get the whole drawing coming up and filling up the screen. Type Z and enter again and look at some of the other options. One of them that's very handy is the zoom window, and you can actually just click on that, or type W and enter, and then, okay, I'm going to undo that because that's not what I meant to do. So let's try that again. Z, enter, and then W, enter, and I make a window around what I want to zoom in on it and click, and it fills up the window, fills up the screen. So those two are very handy. Z, then A, or Z, and then W, and use a window. What we're going to do now is we're going to make a copy of this for future use. So we're going to come up here to the Modify palette, click on Copy, and we're going to make a selection window by clicking to the lower right, and then we're going to drag up to the upper left of our little diagram here and click. And now that whole thing is selected. And read the command line now. It says to select objects. So it's still allowing you to select more objects, but we're done with that. So we're going to enter. And then it asks for a displacement point or a base point. And that can just be that's where we're going to grab it. So that can be anywhere. We'll just click in the middle. And then we'll come over here and we'll make a copy off to the side by clicking again and then entering or escaping again. So now we have two copies of that. Just one other thing about the selection windows, and they work with a number of different commands. Move, copy, rotate, amongst them. But let's try copy again. Click on the copy. Now watch what happens if I move from left to right instead of from right to left. So I'm going to click down here. Now I get a blue window, and the blue window only selects things that are completely encompassed within the window. So now, like in this case, what you'll see is I'm only going to get two of the lines. So let me enter, and I'm just going to grab a base point just to show you what's going on, and click and enter again. See, it only copied the lines that were completely inside the blue window. The green, on the other hand, will select anything that is merely touched upon by it. So I'm going to select all three of them with the green window and delete them. I actually didn't get this one, and delete them. So that's the difference between the blue and the green windows. That's it for this video. Visit AutoCAD in 20 hours for your free trial and more information. Hello and welcome back to AutoCAD in 20 hours using the ribbon interface. This video covers sections 1.5 through 1.7. Check your YouTube settings. Click on this little gear, and under the quality setting, set it to HD. Sometimes you'll find that 720 is actually better than 1080, so you'll have to play around with that to see what works best for you. This is where we left off last time. You can move around in the drawing by holding down the center wheel on your mouse, and you'll get this little hand and you can grab the drawing and move it around. You can zoom in and out by scrolling the center wheel. So let's get our drawing now, which is the one off to the left, back into the center of the screen. we're going to use the offset tool again, which is on the modify palette of the home ribbon. Click on that and then read the command line. It asks you to specify a distance, and we are going to put in 6'6", so that's 6'6". Apostrophe is the symbol for feet in the architectural drawing system. Then we are going to enter, click on this upper line, and anywhere below it will create another line. Now let's escape and click the offset button again. This time we're going to type 5 foot, enter. Click on this center vertical line and then off to the left, anywhere. Doesn't matter where you click. It just wants to know which side you're going to offset to. And click and then escape. Click on the trim button here and enter right away. You have to enter immediately for trim to work this way. And we are going to trim out some lines here, here, and here. Now we're going to create some wall thicknesses. The walls are 3 1/2 inch thick. They call them 4-inch walls, but the framing lumber is 3 1/2 inches. So we're going to click on the offset button and read the command line. It's asking you for your offset distance. Type 3.5 and enter. We don't have to put in inches because inches are the default. So any number that you put in will automatically be inches unless you designate some other increment. So let's click on this line here, then to the inside, and we're going to click here and on the inside, and we're just going to go around and we're going to repeat that all the way around. This line here we're going to offset to the left. This line here we're going to offset to the left. This one above, this one to the left. And then let's escape. Now let's click on the trim button again and enter immediately. That turns it into a trimming tool. And we're going to go around and we're going to clean out the corners of our walls, the intersections of our walls. And this is just a standard for architectural drawings. So I'm going to go around and do that all the way around. And I'm going to pause and take care of that and then come back. So I have trimmed out all of these intersections. So let me get this one up here, with some exceptions, and that being down here at the bottom. This area is the porch, so I'm going to highlight these two by clicking on them, and then I'm going to hit the delete button on my keyboard. But also use the erase tool up here. Okay. Now we're going to make another copy of this for later use. So let's click on the copy button on the modify palette, and we are going to click to the lower right, and then we're going to pull a green selection window up and click to the upper left, and then enter. We'll click in the center, and I'm going to scroll out a little bit and come over here and place a copy and then escape. And then I'm going to go back to our center drawing.